The human vessel shook violently as Haelor plasma cannons tore gaping holes through the hull, venting the crew into the merciless void of space and sealing the fate of the lone ship that dared to venture into the heart of the ruthless alien empire. Captain Samuel Rice gripped the arms of his command chair, his knuckles white as the TDS Phantom took another direct hit. He knew this covert mission handed down from the Galactic Council was a desperate gambit, infiltrating Haelor space to gather intel on their rumored superweapon. It was a suicide run, but the alternative was far worse. Rice pictured the Haelor flagship, a monstrosity bristling with city-leveling cannons, captained by the cruelest warlord of the Empire, Kulroth, the Butcher, a creature with no compunctions about enslaving entire species or glassing worlds that failed to bend the knee. Rice knew that if he failed here, countless billions across the galaxy were doomed to a fate worse than death under the iron fist of Kulroth and his Haelor legions. The Galactic Council was already on the back foot, their forces decimated in a string of disastrous engagements with the ever-expanding Haelor war machine. The Phantom was their final play, a last-ditch effort to find some weakness in their enemy's armor before it was too late. Every species in the Council had poured their dwindling resources into the state-of-the-art stealth ship, praying that Rice's penchant for pulling off the impossible would see them through this darkest hour. But as another salvo of plasma fire rocked the Phantom, warning klaxons blaring and damage reports flooding in, Rice was forced to confront the painful reality. This time, even his legendary skills might not be enough. The Haelor had caught them, and they would be damned before they let the Council's last hope slip through their grasp. Rice's hands flew across the Phantom's controls, coaxing every ounce of speed and maneuverability from the vessel as they wove through the outer defenses of Una's space. The advanced stealth systems, the pride of the Galactic Council's engineering, kept them hidden from the watchful eyes of the Una's patrols, but Rice knew their invisibility was not infallible. His fears were confirmed when the proximity alert flashed red, indicating an incoming patrol fleet. Rice's fingers danced across the console, engaging the Phantom's cloaking system. The ship shimmered and vanished from sight, a ghost among the stars. The Una's ships passed by, their sensors blind to the hidden human vessel. Rice allowed himself a brief moment of relief until a single fighter broke formation. It was piloted by Commander Zorgon, a seasoned Unas warrior known for his keen instincts and relentless pursuit of prey. Zorgon's eyes narrowed as he studied his radar, a faint anomaly catching his attention. He veered his fighter towards the disturbance, determined to uncover its source. In the Phantom's cockpit, alarms blared as Rice realized their cloak had been compromised. With a split-second decision, he disengaged the cloaking system and targeted Zorgon's fighter. The Phantom darted forward, its ion cannons locking onto the Una's ship. Rice fired, a precise shot that disabled Zorgon's weapon systems. Zorgon roared in fury as his fighter went dead in space. With a slam of his fist, he sent out a distress signal to the nearby Una's outpost on Krazak's moon. The outpost, a heavily fortified installation commanded by the notorious Captain Drizak, immediately mobilized a force of elite warriors to intercept the intruder. Rice knew engaging the Unas directly was a death sentence. The Phantom, for all its advanced technology, could not hope to match the firepower of Drizak's forces, but Rice had a trick up his sleeve, the Phantom's holographic projectors. As the Unas ships closed in on the Phantom's last known position, Rice activated the projectors. Suddenly, the massive form of a human battleship, the TDS Titan, appeared directly in the path of the Unas warriors. The Titan's guns swiveled menacingly, its hull bristling with armaments. The Unas ships pulled up short, momentarily confused by the sudden appearance of the formidable human vessel. In that instant of hesitation, Rice engaged the Phantom's engines and slipped away, the holographic Titan covering his escape. Light years away on the bridge of the Destroyer of Worlds, Emperor Boron listened intently as his subordinates relayed the encounter with the mysterious human ship. The advanced cloaking technology, the precise weaponry, the cunning tactics employed by its captain, all of it intrigued Boron. He turned to General Cragg, his most trusted military advisor. "This human vessel, this Phantom," Boron rumbled. "I want it captured, intact, along with its crew." Crag nodded, his eyes glinting with anticipation. "It will be done, my Emperor. The secrets of their technology will be ours." Boron leaned back in his throne, a sinister smile playing across his lips. The knowledge gained from the Phantom could prove invaluable to the development of the Una's super-weapon. And with that power in his grasp, the galaxy would soon kneel before the might of the Una's empire. As Rice navigated the Phantom through the treacherous reaches of Una space, the console beeped, indicating an incoming encrypted transmission. He tapped the screen, and a distorted holographic figure materialized before him. The librarian, his enigmatic contact within the Galactic Council. "Captain Rice," the librarian spoke, their voice masked by a digital scrambler, "I bring grave news. The Una's superweapon, the Devourer, is nearly operational. Your mission is now more critical than ever." Rice leaned forward, his brow furrowed. "What do we need to do?" "You must sabotage the central power core, located in the heart of Zorkath, the Una's capital. I'm uploading stolen schematics to your ship's computer. They reveal a network of ancient tunnels beneath the city that will grant you covert access." Rice studied the schematics as they appeared on the console, committing every detail to memory. "Understood. I won't fail." "Good luck, Captain. The fate of the galaxy rests on your shoulders." As the librarian's image faded, Rice input the coordinates for Zorkath, his face set with steely resolve. In the opulent throne room of the Destroyer of Worlds, Emperor Boron slammed his fist on the armrest, his eyes blazing with fury. How is it that one human vessel continues to elude the might of the Una's empire? General Crag bowed his head, his voice tinged with fear. "My Emperor, the human ship possesses advanced technology unlike anything we've encountered before." "Excuses," Boron roared. "I want that ship captured and its crew brought before me. Deploy the Shadow Hunters, they will not fail me." Crag nodded, his eyes glinting with determination. "As you command, Emperor." Deep within the bowels of the Destroyer of Worlds, the Shadow Hunters prepared for their mission. These genetically enhanced Una's warriors, equipped with cutting-edge stealth technology, moved with a predatory grace as they boarded their ships, their loyalty to the Emperor unwavering. As the Phantom approached Zorkath, its sensors detected a massive energy surge emanating from the city's center. Rice's eyes widened as he realized the implications. The Unas were preparing to test the Devourer. Time was running out. Rice's fingers flew across the console, activating the Phantom's advanced hacking systems. He worked quickly, infiltrating the Una's communication network and planting false signals that would draw attention away from the power core. With the diversion in place, Rice maneuvered the Phantom into position near the ancient tunnel network's entry point. He donned his nanotech-enhanced combat suit, the sleek black material molding to his body like a second skin. Rice grabbed his plasma rifle, checking its charge before clipping a set of EMP grenades to his belt. These powerful devices, designed specifically to target Una's technology, would be crucial in disabling any security systems he might encounter. As the airlock hissed open, Rice took a deep breath, steeling himself for the challenges that lay ahead. He stepped out into the dark, winding tunnels beneath Zorkath, the weight of his mission heavy on his shoulders. The fate of the galaxy depended on his success, and failure was not an option. Rice crept through the ancient tunnels, his nanotech suit's cloaking system engaged. The dark, winding passages seemed to close in around him as he navigated the labyrinth beneath Zorkath. His suit's HUD displayed a map of the tunnels, a glowing line marking his path to the central power core. Suddenly, a group of Una's guards rounded the corner ahead. Rice froze, trusting in his suit's cloaking field. The guards passed by, unaware of the human intruder mere feet away. Rice let out a slow breath, then pressed on. As he delved deeper, the tunnels grew narrower, the air thick and oppressive. Rice's instincts screamed danger. He readied his plasma rifle, just as a massive shape lunged from the shadows. A void leviathan, a genetically engineered monstrosity of muscle and rage. Its roar shook the tunnels as it charged, razor claws extended. Rice rolled aside, barely evading the beast's first strike. He came up firing, plasma bolts searing the creature's hide. But the leviathan's hide was tough, its fury relentless. It lashed out, a claw catching Rice across the chest, sparks flying from his suit's armor. Rice gritted his teeth, firing an EMP grenade. The blast erupted in a pulse of blue light, shorting out the creature's cybernetic implants. It stumbled, momentarily stunned. Rice pressed his advantage, raining plasma fire on the beast's weak points. The leviathan roared in pain and anger, thrashing wildly. Its tail slammed Rice into the tunnel wall, the impact driving the air from his lungs. Stars danced in his vision. Shaking his head clear, Rice saw the creature charging, jaws agape. He fired his last EMP grenade down its throat. The grenade detonated, frying the leviathan from the inside out. The beast convulsed, then collapsed, smoke rising from its jaws. Rice staggered to his feet, his suit's systems flashing damage warnings. He injected a dose of nanite-infused Medigel, feeling the pain recede as the microscopic machines repaired his injuries. There was no time to rest. He had to keep moving. The shadow hunters moved silently through the tunnels, their enhanced senses picking up the fading traces of battle. They came upon the fallen void leviathan, its massive corpse still smoking. Formidable prey, the lead hunter growled, examining the beast's wounds. This human is a worthy challenge. The other hunters nodded, adjusting their weapons. They were the best of the Unas, genetically crafted and ruthlessly trained. They would not underestimate this foe. Rice's suit scanners pulsed as he neared the central power core chamber. An energy field shimmered across the entrance, a biometric barrier, attuned to Una's physiology. Rice's human body would never pass through. But the severed hand of an Una's guard, taken from a fallen foe, might just do the trick. Rice grimaced as he held the grisly key up to the field. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing happened. Then, with a flicker, the field vanished. Rice stepped through, plasma rifle at the ready. The chamber was vast, dominated by a pulsing, glowing sphere, the power core of the Devourer. And standing before it, flanked by his elite guard, was Emperor Boron himself. The Unas leader turned, his eyes widening in surprise, then narrowing in rage. "You dare," he hissed, drawing his own weapon, an ornate plasma saber. "You think you can stop the inevitable? The Devourer will feast, and the galaxy will tremble." Rice raised his rifle, his jaw set. "Not on my watch." The air crackled with tension as human and Unas faced each other, a clash of wills and weapons imminent. The fate of the galaxy would be decided here, in the heart of the enemy's stronghold. Rice knew the odds, he knew the risks, but he also knew his duty. Failure was not an option. He charged forward, plasma rifle blazing as Boron's guards leapt to engage. The final battle had begun. Rice charged forward, plasma rifle spitting fire, the fate of the galaxy riding on his shoulders. Boron's elite guard surged to meet him, a wall of armored bodies and flashing blades. Rice ducked and wove, his nanotech suit enhancing his speed and reflexes. He lashed out with a cybernetically enhanced kick, sending an Unas warrior crashing into his comrades. But for every guard he felled, two more took their place. The shadow hunters burst into the chamber, their stealth suits shimmering as they decloaked. They opened fire, plasma bolts stitching the air. Rice dove for cover behind a pulsing conduit, the heat searing his skin. He had to reach the power core, it was the only way. Rice primed an EMP grenade, then leapt from cover. He charged the core, dodging plasma fire, his rifle blazing. The grenade left his hand, detonating in a burst of blue light. The core flickered, its shielding failing. Boron roared in fury. "Stop him!" The Emperor charged, his energy blade flashing. Rice met him head-on, his rifle clashing against Boron's sword. They traded blows, sparks flying, the fate of worlds hanging in the balance. Rice's suit strained under the onslaught, warning lights flashing across his HUD. He couldn't match Boron's strength, but he had to try. He feinted left, then lunged right, his rifle driving towards the core. Boron's blade slashed down, severing the rifle's barrel. Rice let the ruined weapon drop, his hand darting to his belt. He drew his last EMP grenade, thumbed the activator, and slammed it into the heart of the core. The explosion was blinding. The core ruptured, energy cascading outwards in a tidal wave of destruction. Rice felt himself lifted off his feet, tossed like a leaf in a hurricane. His suit screamed warnings, its systems overloading. He slammed into a wall, the impact driving the breath from his lungs. Through a haze of pain, he saw Boron staggering, the Emperor's armor smoking and sparking. The core was a maelstrom of energy, tendrils of power lashing out, ripping through metal and flesh alike. Rice's head swam, darkness encroaching on his vision. He had done it, he had destroyed the core, but at what cost? Across the Una's empire, power cores overloaded, the network that fed the Devourer collapsing in on itself. On 1,000 worlds, cities went dark, ships fell from the sky, and the machinery of war ground to a shuddering halt. The Unas, so long the terror of the galaxy, found themselves powerless, their empire crumbling to dust in a matter of moments. In the heart of the maelstrom, Rice lay broken and bleeding, his suit's life support system struggling to keep him alive. He barely registered the hands that gripped him, pulling him from the wreckage. Galactic Council operatives, their faces grim, loaded him onto a waiting ship. As the ship sped away from the dying Una's homeworld, Rice drifted in and out of consciousness. He had won. The Unas were defeated. But the price had been high, too high. Innocent lives snuffed out in an instant, worlds left in ruins. Had he become the very thing he sought to destroy? The medics worked frantically to stabilize him, but Rice barely felt their ministrations. His mind was elsewhere, lost in the weight of what he had done. The Galactic Council had their victory, but at what cost to their souls? And what of him, the man who had pulled the trigger? Could he ever find peace again, knowing the blood that stained his hands? These thoughts haunted him as he slipped into unconsciousness, the ship carrying him into an uncertain future, in a galaxy forever changed by his actions. You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.